Hey everybody, how you doing? I hope you're having yourself a happy Thursday or a awesome Friday. We're going to spend one more day on circles, and then we're going to look at parabolas again. But what we're doing today is we're going to be looking at circles in different forms. From here on out, that circle equation that I taught you about, x minus h squared plus y minus k x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. That is, I'm going to refer to that as center radius form because they give you the center and the radius. But unfortunately, a lot of the times they don't give you the equation in this formula. They give it to you in general form. I know that some math teachers around here are going to be calling it expanded form. This kind of looks like standard form to me too. Anyway, that equation looks like this: ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus de plus e. That is the expanded form. And as you can see here in example 1, they give me that equation in general form, and I got to work to get it to center radius form. If you're thinking completing the square, you're thinking right. Yeah! So let's do some completing the square, but before we do completing the square, we do need to do some rearranging. The x squared should be sitting with the 10x, so x squared plus 10x plus the y squared should be hanging out with that negative 8y, and then that 10 doesn't really have any business on this side of the equal sign. So at this point, I'm just going to write it over here as a negative 10. And if you remember, completing the square, you take this number 10, you divide it by 2, which makes it 5, and then you square it, which becomes 25. So I have x squared plus 10x plus 25. And because I just added 25 to the left side of the equation, to the right side of the equation, I'm also going to add 25. Then this other one, y squared minus 8y, you take that 8, you divide it by 2, and that becomes 4, and you square the 4, and it becomes 16. So plus 16. So because I just added 16 to the left side, I also must add 16 to the right side. Then we do some simplifying. I'm one step from the answer at this point. 25 plus 16 is 41, but 41 minus 10 is 31. This becomes x plus square root of 25 is 5 squared, plus here y minus square root of 16 is 4, quantity squared, and boom, we are in center radius form. Lovely. Okay, let's try out example 2. Number 2 is actually very similar to number 1, except it's a little bit more messy. So you might want to just try this problem ahead of me and see if you can beat me to the solution, and hopefully we'll get the same solution. You first want to decide if you want to bring the x squareds left or right, and you want the x squareds and the y squareds to both be positive, in which case I need to bring everything to the left. That way. And when I bring everything to the left, I'll have a positive x squared. That's going to pair with this negative 12x. And then I have the y squared, and that's going to pair with the 20y. And then on that other side, I have the 8, and that 8 is happy staying right there. Now, x squared minus 12x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 squared, 36. On the other side, 8 plus 36. Plus y squared plus 20y plus 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 squared, 100. So plus 100, add 100 on the other side as well. And we're almost done. 8 plus 36 is 44, plus 100, 144. And with this one, square root of 36 is 6 because there's a minus here. It's x minus 6 quantity squared. That's how that one factors. And this one factors into y plus 10. quantity squared. So it's kind of nice. When you looked at this, you're like, man, how's this thing going to graph? That's messy. But just 1, 2, 3 algebra steps later, we know that we have a center at 6, -10, and a radius of 12, and then we can graph ourselves a beautiful graph. All right, so those are those ones, and then we're also going to have these other types of problems that are new. In this one, we actually want to write the circle equation in general form. I crossed out expanded because I'm teaching general, but the worksheet actually might say expanded form. So I'm going to write expanded like that. Let me just quickly check my notes here. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go back to this real quick. No, I'm not. I'm actually just going to keep everything as it is. I'm going to change the worksheet. All right, so I have the center point, so I already have half the point. I'm going to start, I basically want to start in center radius form, but I have the center, I don't have the radius, but you need to use one of your equations. Equation for area, pi r squared. So I know that pi r squared, the area, is equal to 25 pi. If I divide both sides by pi, I get r squared equals 25. And when you square root both sides, the square root of r squared is absolute value of r. Square root of 25 is 5. And then when you apply the absolute value, the radius is positive -5. But of course, a negative radius makes no sense, so we just go with positive 5. And frankly, for these problems, I usually leave out this step and this step and just jump straight to here just using common sense. But now that I have all this information, I can write my circle equation in center radius form. Becomes x minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 4 quantity squared equals r squared, which is 25. And then to work to get it into general or expanded form, you FOIL this guy, you FOIL that guy. Foiling out this one, it becomes x squared minus 4x plus 4. Don't say x squared plus 4. Don't forget about that insides and outsides. Plus, this one becomes y squared plus 8y plus 16. Please don't forget about the 8y. Same thing. You really want to think about this as being y plus 4 times y plus 4 and completely foiling it out. Y squared plus 4y plus 4y plus 16, which gives you this thing. Equals 25. And then last thing, to get it into proper general form, we will write it as ax squared, so x squared plus the y squared, then the plain old x, so negative 4x, then the plain y, so plus 8y, and then the number, 4 plus 16 is 20, but we also need to subtract this 25 from both sides so that it's equal to 0, and when we do that, 20 minus 25 is -5, so you end up with that. All right, Elliot's got to check one more thing here. Yeah. When you get to the answer key answers like this: x squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 8y minus 5 equals 0. I'm okay with that answer. I see the value of both forms of it. I guess I like this one a little bit more because it's more formal, but this one, it's algebraically equivalent. You can go ahead and answer it that way if you would like. Second one, same type problem, except this time instead of doing area, they're doing circumference. You need to know your circumference formula. Because you're looking for radius, I use the circumference formula. Circumference equals 2 pi r, which means 10 pi equals 2 pi r. And when I divide both sides by 2 pi, the radius ends up equaling 5. And I don't know if you noticed this, but at the way I set this up, you actually have the exact same center, and even though it's circumference and area, you ended up with the same radius. So at this point, your work would basically follow the exact same thing that I did here in this problem, and it would follow exactly towards the end. So hey, Elliot saved you a little bit of time by kind of combining a couple math problems. All right, everybody, that's that for these examples. You have some sample problems to be working on in class on Friday, and then we'll have our weekend. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Hey, check out Kyla's new art, just like from Show and Tell yesterday. Hoo-ah! Have a good day. Bye-bye.